Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and you're listening to another episode of the world famous University Love, the best podcast people in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is August the 12th, 2026, on a hot and muggy day here in Atlanta, GA. Tony Rizano is going to give you the news that you need. Now, I have bad news and I have good news. What do you want to hear first, ladies and gents? Okay. The bad news is you're not going to win the Powerball. Unfortunately for you, you are not going to win. Okay. Do you want to hear the good news? The good news is you don't have to win the Powerball because if you listen to this program, you're going to be rich anyway. So, fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the next 10 to 12 minutes as I discuss to you something that people do not want to hear these days, especially these days. People do not want to hear this. Most people, you know how most people get rich? Most people become successful. Unfortunately for you, everybody, unless you're a Nepo baby, unless you're a socialite, a, you know, a, a, a Irvin Johnson Jr., you could just walk around being a fashionista, or a Paris Hilton, one of them types. And if you was one of them types, man, if you was one of them types, you wouldn't be listening to this program anyway. How about that? So, you ain't one of them types. So, unfortunately for you, you got to do something that we all don't like to do. And that's called work hard. We got to work hard at the thing that we want to do, the thing that we want to perfect, the thing that we want to master, the thing that we want to get riches and for. You got to work hard. I know that's a dirty word. That's a dirty term. You know how people online, they always say you could be a faceless entity and make millions of dollars on YouTube. Uh, sure. You gotta put in some work, everybody. Everything that you want to do, you gotta put in work. I know people they love to look at Warren Buffett. I remember I read a book about Warren Buffett called Snowball. If you ever want to read a book, that's a good book. Warren Buffett, he started off from the word go. He was reading newspaper articles, books. Benjamin Graham, he studied Benjamin Graham. If you ever read The Little Investor, I think that's the name of the book. I've read it. Um, listen, let me tell y'all something. On the investment side of things, if you ever get confused about investing, go to a low index fund. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a financial advisor, so let me just say that. But if you know, you know. Now, I'm telling you all this, this Warren Buffett, he reads, like 80% of most of the time, he's reading, studying the trends, studying the stocks, blah 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 blah. You know, he puts in a lot of effort. He's been doing this since he was a little kid, and he's worked hard at it. It's not like he took a magic pill and all of a sudden he's just like, I know the stock market. No, you have to work hard at it. Sometimes you have to work hard. You wanna churn some butter. You gotta get in there and muscle that butter. You know what I'm saying? You gotta muscle that cream. You gotta put in the work. You see, I remember people like, oh man, I'm gonna be. It's like these athletes these days. These athletes, a lot of athletes, they want to be a brand. They want to be a Michael Jordan type, a LeBron James type. LeBron James, he studies a lot of basketball. Whatever you want to say about LeBron James, you cannot question the man works pretty hard at basketball. Michael Jordan, yeah, he got the Jordan shoes. He did a lot of work, man. He did a lot of shooting. He focused on basketball. That was his main thing. He focused on basketball. He got better and better. He worked quite hard at it. Baseball, Barry Bonds, he worked very hard at baseball. You got to hit them. Baseball is very hard. You know, um, Everyday people. You want to be a top plumber. You got to work hard at your craft. Um, you want to start writing. There's not a magic pill. Um, as somebody who's written a lot of poetry, and has actually gotten better at it. Uh, there's a lot every day. Every day you gotta write every day. Every day you gotta write. If you want to get better with poetry and write longer, more poetry, deeper poetry than just roses are red, violets are blue. Hey, Crystal, I got a crush on you. You have to do more than just. You have to every day say, let me write something. If you want to be a writer, you got to write every day. Write an article every day. I remember one time I wrote 60 days in a row. I wrote something down. Either 1 page, 2 pages. 100 words, 200 words. Just start writing stuff down, and it definitely helped. And we're gonna do more of that. But you have to work. You have to work hard. You have to work hard to exhaust it. Okay, you want to exhaust your everything in your body, everything in your soul to get to what to get to the thing that you want. A lot of times we say, "Oh man, you gotta do this, you gotta do that." If you could just take shortcuts, there are no shortcuts, ladies and gentlemen. There ain't no shortcuts. There's no easy way out. There's no shortcut home. There's no easy way out. Some of you don't know that's Rocky, okay? Ain't no easy way out, man. You gotta do the work. You gotta put in the time, you gotta put in the effort, you gotta care, you gotta sweat, you gotta get frustrated, you gotta get annoyed. Sometimes you're gonna get pissed off. But in the end, the payoff will be beautiful. It's like being in a marriage. You have a marriage is hard work, man. To be with one person for the rest of your life is hard work. It's a beautiful thing though. I love being married. It's but sometimes it can be a lot of work. Sometimes it's a lot easier just to turn and because one of the hardest things that people could do is to just apologize. Sometimes that's hard for people, and sometimes if you're dating somebody or with somebody and you're like they acting up, let me go turn to another. Sometimes that's easier, but is it fulfilling? Nope. It's cheating yourself. You know, the hard work in a marriage is you lay the foundation and then eventually you bear the fruits of your labor, when it comes to a marriage. And so whether you are a stock investor, whether you are a husband or a wife, hard work will pay off. Hard work does pay off. Now you have to put some thought into your hard work. Let me say that you got to have a plan. The better you plan, the better you're prepared. Okay, but you got to put in the work. I know people like to look at, oh man, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, he worked hard at, trying to get press and trying to get his people to put in the work, put in the effort to make Apple into a top notch, entity. Um, Bill Gates used his old noggin and came out with Microsoft. Decided he was going to do the opposite of Apple and not and let everybody interface with him. Apple did the complete opposite. They like, no, Apple products are going to be with Apple. Microsoft was like, hey, we are going to let everybody use us. And so, but Bill Gates, he put in a lot of work, he put in a lot of effort, put in a lot of time. And just look at anybody around you, anybody in your town, anybody that is successful. And what is success? I know a lot of times, I have to say, me personally, I would like to say people that I know, but you ain't gonna know who they are. So I got to use the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs and this one and that one and the Warren Buffetts and the Michael Jordans, because ordinary people they love to hear about celebrities and how they doing, how they living, how they make it. But all these people put in hard work. Tom Cruise, you see Tom Cruise. This guy, he goes around. He flies to he flies to London. He flies to Madrid. He does all this smiling and handshaking and networking and kissing babies and shaking hands so he can sell a movie, man. It's a lot of work. Would you be willing to do all that to sell a movie? Maybe, maybe not. Tom Cruise does it all the time. And what I'm telling you is there is no magic pill. There is no magic formula. There is no shenanigans that you can do to get rich quick. Unfortunately, the people tell you, "Oh man, this ain't a get rich quick scheme." You are the product, okay? They're getting rich when you buy their stuff. So, but if you want to be successful, if you want to really be successful, and success is not about, having billions of dollars. Listen, you can have no debt and be making $5,000. And as long as you don't have to be bothered with anybody, nobody beating on your door, nobody repossessing your car, you are a success. Okay. So don't worry about anybody's term of success. Success is what you want. How would you look at yourself? Are you successful? Are you happy? Are you in a bunch of debt? Are you not in a bunch of debt? Can you you wake up in the morning and you spend a lot of time with your wife and your kids and this, that, and the other? What 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 is turning your you know what is turning you up? You know what I'm saying? That's whatever you define as success, go for it. Okay, but don't let nobody, don't let society, don't let anybody, friends, family, oh man, you doing okay, but you don't have this big old boat like Bill. Trust me. Bill got a big old boat. Bill got a big old bill behind that boat. Okay, so um whatever you want to use as the term success, write it down, write it on a piece of paper. How you see yourself as a success, and then you go for it, and then you work as hard as you possibly can. Okay, and don't stop until you get there. Never quit. The worst thing you can do is quit. Okay, the worst thing you can do is quit. Quitting means you gave up. You could be 80 years old and finally get to where you want to go, and you be like, you know what? I'm a success. There's no time limit. Okay, you are as young as you feel. And health is wealth. Always take care of yourself. And as long as you're doing that, you will be a-okay to get the job done. Whatever that job might be. But unfortunately, for you and I, we gotta work extremely hard. Okay? Doesn't have to be physical, doesn't have to be physical labor. It can be mental labor, physical labor, combination of both, one or the other. It does not matter, but you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. Okay? And you have to put in smart time. Just because you work 24 hours a day doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. Okay? Make sure you are using your time wisely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that is it. That is it for the program. We'll be back tomorrow with an all new episode Online Marketing Moves. If you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, go download every episode you see on this here show. Go back to 2021, download all the episodes. And you can always email me at tony@tonyrizano.com. And until tomorrow, folks, that's it. God bless each and every one of you. And as always, everybody, peace.